Добрый день, дорогие слушатели нашего подкаста. Сегодня у нас очень особенный эпизод, и буду честна с вами, я немного волнуюсь по двум причинам. Первая причина — сегодня впервые с нами приглашенный гость, а вторая причина — сегодняшний подкаст пройдет на английском языке. Для меня большая честь сегодня разделять эту студию вместе с мистером Джонатаном, директором международной школы Spectrum в городе Астана, и поговорить, ответить на главный вопрос, чему британские стандарты могут научить нас в Казахстане. Mr. Jonathan, I'm truly honored to share this hour with you today. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much for inviting me. I'm very happy to be here as well.
Let's start from the beginning. Could you share a little bit about your background and how did you decide to come to Kazakhstan?
Yeah, sure. So actually I started my journey in education around 2005. So I've been working in education now for almost 21 years. Mm-hmm. I started working in inner London schools in the UK. I spent 10 years working in schools in the UK before deciding to go internationally. Mm-hmm. I went first to China, and then from China I decided to come to Kazakhstan. I briefly left Kazakhstan, actually. I went to work in Gabon, but I missed Kazakhstan a lot and really tried hard to find an opportunity to come back to Kazakhstan. It's such a beautiful country that I really wanted to come back and be part of the culture and the country here. But my journey started in Kazakhstan, I guess, by chance. I'd not heard too much about Kazakhstan before coming here myself. I first joined Kazakhstan in 2019, and I think it wasn't as prominent at that time. But
was it also with Spectrum International School?
No, I worked in Almaty in a different position at that time. Mm-hmm. But no, it's really an enjoyable place to be, I think.
That's very nice to hear. Thank you so much about telling so many warm words about our country. Well, that's very nice that we can talk today not only about British context in Kazakhstan, but also about the global context, since you have so many experience working in different schools around the world. It wasn't your first winter in Astana then, right?
It was my first winter in Astana, although I've spent winter in Almaty before. It's a little bit different in Astana.
But still survivable?
Still survivable. I found so long as you buy the right winter equipment, it's fine.
Can you tell us a little bit about Spectrum International School?
Yeah, sure. So Spectrum International School, if you haven't been or you don't know so much about it, it's a world-class international school providing the British international program based on the Cambridge system. It's world recognized, and we are recruiting teachers who are experts in their subject from all areas around the world. Mm-hmm. So we have currently 35 different nationalities of teachers in our school. Predominantly, we do have British teachers because we're following the British program. Mm-hmm. But we are offering an internationally recognized program that's very well established and recognized by all universities around the world, not just Britain, but America and Canada and Europe. So, yeah.
What kind of British curriculum do you use?
So our British curriculum is based on the Cambridge International Programme, which again, as I said, it's a world-recognised programme, but it was actually established by Cambridge in the mid-1800s.
The listeners of our podcast are mostly academics who are from all over the Kazakhstan. And can you tell in simple words what this curriculum is about?
Yeah, I think many international curriculums, they try to encourage children to think more internationally rather than on a local perspective. And the British International Programme is very similar. It tries to help children not just to learn knowledge and learn facts and figures, but actually to go past that and to think about how they can learn how to learn and how they can try to apply the knowledge and skills that they're learning in the classroom to real-world situations, and to be ready for a future that we don't really know what's in store for at the moment. I think about, my own education and my time when I was in school, that there are many jobs when I was a student in school that didn't exist then, that are now very, very big jobs, like social media manager, for an example. When I was a student, this job didn't exist, and now it's a rather well-paid job. And we don't know right now what jobs will be available in the future for our children. So, the international programs, they are trying to help children prepare for this uncertain future and be ready for all possible job opportunities that may present themselves.
Казахстанская IT-платформа ZERO Education для частных школ, детских садов и образовательных центров. Закройте все процессы одной системой: CRM, финансы, HR, ERP, документооборот и чат-GPT. Выбирайте нашу IT-платформу.
Do you believe that school of the future is a school of skills or school of knowledge?
I think there's going to be a balance between the two, because I think you definitely need to know the knowledge. If you don't know anything, then it's going to be very hard to do things. And you can't rely on Googling or using ChatGPT for everything constantly. You have to have some knowledge. But I think it's also very important to have the skills to understand how to find new knowledge and how to learn and how to adapt what you do know to fit a changing circumstances and evolving world.
I absolutely agree with you. I often ask this question to anyone I know in the education, and a lot of them answer that the school of the future is a school of skills, but I also believe that school of the future is a school of both skills and knowledge, and that's a challenge for us to find this balance between what to spend time on training more skills or on giving more knowledge in school. Thank you very much. That's a very interesting perspective, and I wanted to ask you, do you allow phones at school?
So this is my first year in Spectrum, and so we've been making some small changes as we go. This year, halfway through the year, we actually made the move to ban phones for the lower school. So anyone who is in grade 8 and below, they don't use their phones when they're in the classroom. They bring them in school in the morning. They give them to their homeroom teacher, who keeps them and locks them away for them. They can have them back then at the end of the break, at the end of the day, or if they need them for any emergencies throughout the day, they're allowed to collect their phones at that point. But phones generally cause a distraction, and we found that most of the students themselves have been at first a little bit reluctant, but they do agree that they distract them. And when they reflect and think about the productivity without them, that they understand they are doing better without their phones.
But for all the students, you allow phones in the classroom?
No, this is what I was saying. We now, for anyone under grade 8, so grade 8 and below, we take their phones away from them and we keep them locked away, so they don't have them in the classroom.
The reason I am asking that, we also have all our phones banned for any age of students, but that's the question I've been thinking a lot recently. I'm using ChatGPT constantly on dealing with different issues, and I see how ChatGPT evolved during this last year. There was a period when I didn't use it for a while, and then I realized how more sophisticated it became. And I started wondering, is it a good thing that we are banning the phones in schools? Maybe we need to do more work on integrating safe phone usage without distraction in the classroom, so it would be more productive. But I didn't find an answer to that yet. So I wanted to ask your experience, your opinion on that.
What I would say is that, using technology is a really good thing in the classroom. It doesn't have to be on phones. For us in Spectrum, we allow the teachers, if they need the phone for a lesson and they want the children to use it and it's planned, they can book for the phones to be permitted in the classroom. But we also have for our school a bank of tablets that children can use, and we're trying to expand on this. So the tablets, they have a little bit less distractions because they don't have all the same apps that the children might have on their own devices. But I think we need to make sure that children understand how to use technology effectively. And I think when you ban completely outright for everything, you don't give the opportunity for them to learn from it. So we do allow the children from grade 9 and up to have their phones and have their other devices with them, to try and teach them how to use them responsibly and how to use them to maximize learning, because I think they do have a place. And I really like the point you were talking about with ChatGPT and with other LLMs like this. I think they are very helpful if you know how to use them, because it can be tempting when you first experience these to use them for cheating. They can write your essays for you and they can do a lot of your work for you. But actually, if you know how to use it to help, is even better, because you might, you might write something, and instead of asking ChatGPT to write the essay for you, you say, hey, I've written this. Can you give me some advice on how to improve it? And ChatGPT can give you a good answer. So
that's true. I absolutely agree with you that we need to teach children how to use the technology effectively, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a phone. Thank you very much for your answer. Well, going back to the skills question, are there any core competencies that you try to evolve in your students?
Yeah, I mean, what we try to do with our students is to make them independent learners. This is one of the goals. As I said, for the future, we see it as a very important thing for children to be able to understand how to, learn independently, how to find information, how to use information. So being independent in the learning process is really important. And our teachers, as part of the British international program as well, the teachers are more facilitators of learning. So, they help the children to guide them through how they can find the information, how they can learn, how they can assess themselves, and how they can, improve with the guidance of the teacher. Whereas in traditional model, I think the teachers are more this disseminator of information, where they stand at the front of the room and tell children, these are the facts, you need to write them down, you need to memorize, you need to learn them. With the British international program, it's more about creating this opportunity for children to discover something and to investigate and to find out independently, and then being able to put that information they've learnt into practice. So these are some of the core kind of skills that we're helping children to develop, which is similar to the skills they will need in university as well, and future careers when they start their working lives.
So that's typically a different type of every class that you have in terms of facilitation. You mentioned that there are 35 students.
Nationalities.
35 nationalities.
Yeah.
Are most of your teachers coming from different countries, not local teachers, or how does it work?
We have quite a lot of international teachers in our school. In the primary section, we actually have 50% of the teachers are international, but this is only because for every class we have 2 teachers. We have one international teacher and one local teacher who works as a teaching assistant in the classroom. So that makes our figures 50-50. But in the secondary section, we have majority of international teachers. We have about 10% of our teachers in the secondary are local teachers, but we do have a separate program for our homeroom program. So for us, I don't know if you know this about Spectrum, but we're a values-based school as well, and we really believe strongly in providing children with this fundamental values that are really important for them to be successful as global citizens in the future as well. And so as part of this, every class they have a dedicated homeroom teacher who's a local person that also acts as the link between home and school. And so the fact that they are, bilingual helps a lot in communication with families as well, and providing this up-to-date information on the progress of their children as they're moving through the school.
So your main language of instruction is English?
That's correct, yeah.
All classes are in English?
All classes are in English except for languages. We teach French, German, Spanish, Korean, and we teach Kazakh and Russian. Next year we're hoping to also teach Mandarin.
Oh, very nice. Do students choose it by themselves, what language they would like to study?
Yeah, of course. So obviously it's mandatory. Everyone must study English and Kazakh, and then they have the choice of picking one of the other optional subjects.
ZERO – это IT-платформа для образовательных организаций, которая упрощает все бизнес-процессы. CRM, колл-центр, WhatsApp-бизнес, LMS, ChatGPT, интеграция с Каспи и Gov – все это в одной системе ZERO. Более 30 школ Казахстана уже доверились нам. Подключайте ZERO и оптимизируйте процессы уже сегодня.
Does it mean that you admit children with a certain level of English to your first grade or zero grade? From what grade do you usually start?
We start in grade 0, but we actually, for English, we admit children with any level of English up until around grade 6, really. Grade 7, if they have a low level of English, it can be considered as well. But, in the primary section, it doesn't matter if they have no level of English even, because actually at that age, they do pick up language faster than older children and adults such as myself. But we have a very strong and dedicated English language support service in the school, which is set up in a way that if a child comes in with no English at all, they can help create an individual plan for them, which involves sometimes taking them out of some lessons or sometimes going in to support them in lessons. But they try and make sure that they develop the basic level of English in a very supportive way and caring way, so they can access the rest of the program. As they get older, that does get more challenging, but we do still accept children even with low levels of English in the secondary school.
That's very interesting. So our language of instruction is mostly Russian. We are launching a few Kazakh classes this year, and we are learning English as a second language at our schools. I've done the research during my master's degree, and I researched motivation in studying foreign language, and there are. According to the research I've done and the information I found, there are two types of motivation. The first one is instrumental motivation. It's when you need to learn English to pass your exam and get into a good university or get a good job. And there is also an integrative part of motivation when you like to study English or any language because of the culture, music, history, traditions, and stuff. I also looked at this concept in terms of the Kazakh language for students coming to Russian-speaking schools, because they also learn Kazakh as a foreign language, even though they are in Kazakhstan. And in terms of English, I thought that the instrumental motivation works perfectly because students at grade 9 start learning English more actively. They are more into it because they know that they need to do IELTS in 2 years and get into good universities. With Kazakh, it's a different story because there isn't an instrumental motivation there, and we try a lot, working a lot with integrative motivation, doing a lot of cultural events, dedicating special days for Kazakh language and stuff like that. So in this perspective, what you are explaining to us right now, is it more referring to integrative motivation, or how would you explain it?
I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, we try to really help the children to be supported. I mean, when we are accepting the children, a lot of them are motivated already in some way to learn English and they're excited by it. We are providing, because the whole day everything is in English as well for our children, they're fully immersed in English. And, all of the fun activities that the teachers are planning are in English. All of the other materials that we have are in English as well. Our library, we have a multilingual library, actually. Our library, we have books in English, Kazakh, Russian, and some other languages as well. So, they are surrounded by different languages and they're surrounded by people and our teachers who are in, this English environment. So that provides quite a lot of motivation as well for them to engage and see the need to have this language skill. So I think that's very important. For passing the exams, I think that's only a strong motivation for the older students. The younger students maybe are not as aware of how important some exams can be. And so for them, I think it's not so much about that, but it's about having fun and getting them to engage with the language in a meaningful way. Which I know can be hard for some people, but if they are interested in the language, it's definitely a lot easier to learn it.
Thank you so much for your opinion on that. This is my personal belief. It's not based on research, but I believe that this self-confidence, which is very important in any child, it's correlated with the amount of how confident he is in class, and that's based on the knowledge he has. So, I mean, when I see that a lot in the classroom, so when someone knows better or finds information easier or can learn, take this learning pairs or another learning pairs better, they are more confident in themselves. When they're coming, for example, at your school at grade, let's say grade 4, and they are not so experienced in English, that makes them a little shy. So based on your experience, or maybe on the experience of your school, the chance that they're gonna become successful, how does correlate with the chance of their academic successes in the future?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think when you first come to an English-speaking school, and if you haven't ever studied English before, it can be a little bit of a challenge. And I think this is something, when we meet with families, we have an interview with the parents and with the children before accepting them to see if they are going to adapt well or what support we might need to put in as a school for them. Because again, this is with the international programs as well, and maybe you know this, but most international programs, we have a child-centered approach for delivery. And so everything we do is centered around each individual child. And at Spectrum, we create individual development plans for every child. 4 times a year, we review them as well. And so we try to really make sure we are focused on what are the needs of this specific child to help them be successful. And it's not only based on the academic success, but as I said, we are a values-based curriculum and we look at what they need to be supported in developing holistically with their mental well-being, their social skills, and all of the other soft skills that go behind that, including leadership skills. And if we find that there's an aspect that maybe they are needing some support in, like you said, maybe they are very, very shy and it's holding them back, or they're lacking some confidence in some area, we try to build in some opportunities discreetly where that child will have an opportunity to grow and develop in that area. Our teachers plan every term team building activities for the children as well to take part in smaller groups where they can develop some of these skills, and they try to plan as well for them to be part of putting on productions every term so that they can also be involved in a group project, so they can develop slowly some of their presentation skills or public speaking skills and other areas like this. But to go back to your original question as well about English, as I said, what we do at Spectrum is if we've got a child who's very, very weak in English, and maybe they are still emerging and learning the alphabet, for example, in grade 4, and the rest of the class are already at the level that they might be reading, a Shakespeare play or something like this. So what we would do is we have our specialist teachers who are delivering our English language support program. They are trained English as an additional language teachers, and they will decide if they need to take that child out of a lesson and work in a small group with them. And they might do something that's based on what's being done in the class, but at a slightly easier level. Or they may go into the class and sit with the child and help them as well to go through the work with the class so that they can be supported that way. So, it depends on the needs of every individual child, but we are really trying to make sure that they're supported so they can be successful at their level. And, I think that helps them. If you're being successful, even if it's at a slightly lower level than the rest of the class, but you can see your own progress, I think that's very important.
So it's basically the culture of encouraging small successes.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jonathan. When you were describing that, I was thinking that's very nice. How many students per teacher's proportion do you have at your school?
We try to keep the number around 20 to a class. In some cases it's lower, and in some cases it may be a little bit more, but around 20 usually.
So there are 20 students per class, but I'm talking about the proportion of how many students per teacher on average, because that's a lot of individual work that you're mentioning. So
that is quite a lot, and we have just under 100 teachers in total in the school, so we have quite a few teachers. And as I said, when it comes to the homeroom teacher system that we've got, we have dedicated homeroom teachers, and they have a significantly reduced teaching load as well, so they don't teach the same number as our other subject specialists. So they have more time to do this kind of support. But we also ask all of our homeroom teachers to actually go and visit the children at home at least one time per year, so that they can also help to develop this home-school partnership, and they can also, if they need to discuss anything for the individual development plans with the parents, they have this opportunity at home. I mean, we also have the opportunity in the school year at school as well. We plan 4 parent-teacher conferences per year where the parents can come in and they meet the teachers, they discuss the progress, and they can review some of the information that goes into these individual development plans.
Very nice. I also wanted to share my... that's what my observation. I think that your school puts the relationship with parents on a special level in terms of the different kind of events that you do with. I see it in your on your Instagram pages. Only this year I saw this. You had Spectrum anniversary. I think a big event that a lot of parents were invited to. You had a beautiful notice celebration as well. Can you share a little bit about it? Is it what's your parents' and school relationship, and how do you facilitate that? This engagement and involvement of parents in your school.
Yeah, I mean, I think parent engagement is really important. And I think when you have parents that are coming in and seeing what's happening in the school, they are then able to understand what we are trying to achieve in the school more. And they can support their children in this mission, this vision that we have in the school. But also, we want to be a hub for the family, not just for the children, but we want to offer things where the parent can be involved as well. And all of the activities that we offer for parents, the idea is that they are the same kind of activities we offer for the children, and they are taught in a similar kind of way, or they're run in a similar kind of way. And it's the alignment of the values that we have as a school. So we are trying to show and to share the values the same with the parents and with the children. So we are all on the same vision, and we are all working together for the same goal. I mean, both the parents and the teachers, they want the children to be successful, they want them to do the best in their studies, and they want them to become these holistically well-developed children in society. So working together is really important, and we try to plan as many activities as possible for our parents to be involved with these kind of activities. Not just the celebrations that you mentioned, but we actually also have clubs for parents. So we have after school, we have lessons for parents to learn German, to learn Russian, Kazakh, Spanish, English sometimes as well. We also have basketball tournaments for the parents to come in and get involved, playing against the teachers sometimes. We have mum's cooking club and we have a dad's cooking club.
That's very nice.
Yeah, and the idea is that the parents come in, they can cook and prepare a meal with the teachers who are also invited, and they can, sit in a more informal way, get to know each other and chat, and they can also talk about, the education of their children at that time if they wanted to ask anything or if they want to know more about the school as well. Because sometimes we find that parents don't always understand fully some of the small details of the international program or about what it is that we are trying to accomplish in certain areas. So this is a nice opportunity in an informal way for parents to get that opportunity to ask. Hello and welcome to Spectrum International School.
Show me that you love me. And when I'm feeling blue and I want you, there's just one thing that you should do. Just give me some kind of sign, girl. Oh.
My name is Francesca. My name is Muhammedova Tamiris.
Ramina. My name is Aliham.
My name is Medina.
My name is Aidana.
My name is Jamila.
My name is Paul Kasarinza.
Just give me some kind of sign, girl. Oh.
It's the community, most probably. The teachers, the students, the vibe you feel in the school and you're comfortable.
I'm here, student at Spectrum International School in 10th grade. Additionally, I'm a president of the school that I was elected by the voting in our school in the beginning of the year. So basically, I've been studying in Spectrum for almost 2 years and I am enjoying the school completely. It is so amazing. I've got a lot of opportunities from our school. I received a lot of offers, which one of them is this year I got an offer from a boarding school in London, King's Education, and I got a 40% scholarship there, which was totally amazing.
Some teachers are really happy and they're just so cool and I really love this.
I'm an 11th grade student here at Spectrum International School. I have started studying here since this year on a full merit-based scholarship. And basically, I love Spectrum because we have labs here, first of all.
And I'm a 9th grade student at Spectrum International School. So for me, Spectrum is not just a simple school. It is a place where I personally grew into a better version of myself, challenged myself, and saw how much potential I have. And Spectrum always pushed me to chase my goals, to achieve the things I really want.
In Spectrum, my favorite subject is most probably PE because I've been into sports since my childhood and PE is just so good. It's so good. I really love it because my friends, we play basketball, volleyball, we can do whatever we want.
My favorite subject is team because each day we are doing new projects.
And I love our science teacher, honestly. We are going through a lot of different experiments and trying on different things in the labs and learning a lot of interesting stuff in interesting ways.
And right now I am gonna be doing my A-level program. I'm thinking of choosing math, econ, history and politics, basically humanities. And currently I am done with my IGCSEs. I've done exams and I have few exams left in June.
Art class because art is my favorite lesson at the school. I love art because it's my second favorite lesson.
Despite talking about basketball, in our school we have a basketball team and I'm the team captain. I'm really proud of being the team captain and it really honors me the fact that we have a really great coach, Mr. Alexei. You've most probably seen him. He's the best coach ever and we have 2 teams consisting of many players, U16 and U19, and if you want, just contact and we'll get you in the team.
And currently, as I've mentioned before, I'm done with my GCSEs. Next year I'm doing A-levels, and our school offers us all the subjects that we ever wanted. I chose 8 subjects, if I'm not mistaken, which is amazing.
Talking about the teachers, Spectrum has a lot of qualified international teachers who actually care and love you, and
we have this connection. So whether like if we have something we're not sure about, we always ask, and that bond is something that makes the Spectrum School for me truly special, and I love it.
Our school is making our children smarter and being rich and making step by step to learn and to be rich. And our school language, English, is most people in most country, they are speaking English. And we can speak whatever country we go.
And to wrap it up, I'm just going to talk about our events in Spectrum International School. So one of our unique events is most probably Unity Day. In Unity Day, we have 30 different countries where each country represents itself by showcasing their traditional foods like drinks and all that stuff. And where I've seen like many countries, like it's so good, like the food, like you get to taste like many foods from different countries, and the experience is just like so good. Like I can't even explain it. Like, yeah, if you want to come, we will wait you next year, 1st of May, come.
And second of all, the Spectrum administration is very communicative, is open, and is always here for us, here to help us to organize different events. For example, I'm leading multiple non-profit organizations, and I have hosted a lot of events, a lot of different events here at school for this academic year. And overall, it is very pleasant to hear that administration is open and is here for you, to help you to organize and lead something that you have never experienced before. So yeah, that's why I love Spectrum.
Also, school helps us to go to hard and hard level and learn so much. Then when you get big, you can do whatever you want, and you can do from 5 seconds say the answers.
And our school promotes diversity. So basically I study with different classmates from all over the world, which I'm enjoying. And also our school provides a lot of different clubs, extracurriculars. For example, as you can see in my back, we have an art exhibition. The pictures are done by our creative students from 6th to 8th grade, which is completely amazing. And it is standing by on the first floor atrium, so everyone can take a look at it and enjoy this masterpiece.
And what is amazing, Spectrum always pushes its students to grow, to achieve their goals. So, for example, I personally have a lot of new different ideas that I would love to implement, maybe school, to have some events here. So Spectrum always supports me, and generally, if students have some initiatives, they're always open to discuss and to talk and to introduce their ideas and realize them with Spectrum. And we're also so grateful to Mr. Azamat and Ms. Roshan because they're always there for us. So they are our college counselors, and throughout the journey, they always support us when we're applying to different university programs and generally to some research initiatives. So that's really great because that support is invaluable. And I love how community here is always together, and we like grow together both personally and socially.
And I am head of primary here at Spectrum International School. I would describe Spectrum as warm and vibrant.
And I've been working in Spectrum International School for 10 years. This is my 10th year completed. I'm head of science and I'm a chemistry teacher. What makes Spectrum unique, I suppose, is the fact that we have a very close community. It's a family type atmosphere.
What inspires me to teach here is the high quality learning that our students are offered. Here we follow the Cambridge curriculum, where it allows students to think critically and also be creative at the same time and offer a sense of independence and ownership in their own learning. So one of the things I love about teaching is I love the students. I love how their eyes light up when they're learning something, the excitement, especially in primary, to be able to inspire students in their life journey. Now, students also inspire me. So just as they're learning from me, I'm also learning from the students, and that's the best part of my job.
In an international school, there are many different people from many different cultures. Working in the UK in a normal public school, we have local children. So the community is far more widespreading in an international school. Cultural learning, obviously, the first thing is that you have to be very, you have to plan very carefully the lessons so that you include all students in that particular lesson from different cultures. Also, in my teaching, I always bring examples of different multicultural events into the teaching. For example, we talk about the harbour process, which is the production of ammonia, which is used for fertilizers. We talk about the population, the effect of the population on the food demand, and the need for fertilizers throughout agricultural use throughout the world. Also, I like to give examples from different cultures of events from certain topics that we're covering on the syllabus as well.
The one thing that I think sets Spectrum apart from other schools is the fact that we focus on the whole child. So we do a lot of holistic approach when learning. So it's not just about the academics, but it's also about the social emotional well-being, which can be found in our Spectrum values. So I think that's one of the things that sets us apart. And also our diverse staff, and also our diverse community that we have here at Spectrum.
Well, I've been here for 10 years, so that must say something in itself. I've enjoyed my time working at Spectrum. As head of science, I've been very supported by management in terms of the resources that we have here. We have very good resources, and you know, the students are very friendly, and you know, the staff, we get on very well, just like one large family.
Are there any special, metrics to measure this parent engagement in schoolwork, or do you do it intuitively, or how does it work?
Yeah, I mean, we keep a record of how many people are attending these events, and we try to see that we are improving each year and getting more and more parents involved. We also send out surveys. Every year we send out 2 surveys to our parents, to our staff, and to our students as well, to get their feedback on how successful we've been in the year, and what their level of engagement was with different activities that we've run, and also to find out if there's something missing from the school that they would like us to include. So we just sent out our recent parent survey actually on Friday last week. So I'm waiting for all of our parents to feedback and give us their opinion as to what we need to improve on for next year.
Thank you so much. What's your favorite activity with parents?
I really like the cooking clubs, actually. I think I like eating. I really enjoy eating. And I like to see as well the fact that we've got such a wide range of nationalities in our school, not just from the teachers, but also from the parents. We have around 34 different nationalities of parents and students in our school. And so the cooking club can be quite a multicultural hub of food sometimes, with people cooking their home dishes from their countries and sharing with everyone. So it's a very nice activity.
That sounds wonderful and tasty. Thank you so much for sharing that. My next question is actually about Spectrum's academic achievements. I regularly monitor different Olympiad results, and I think Spectrum is an only international school who has significant Olympiad results, not only on a city level, but also on a republic level. Maybe you could share. Can you tell us a little bit more about it, and what system do you use to prepare students for academic achievements?
Yeah, sure. I think I would say we're also on the international scale. We do very well with the competitions as well. That's in Olympiads. So, it's not that we are necessarily focused only on those academics. As I said, we focus holistically, and because I think we are really helping the children to focus on areas that they find enjoyable as well. And I think this is very important. You know, we're putting together the individual development plans for every child, and we're reviewing them every term with the children, and we're trying to find out what it is that they are passionate about, what it is that they want to do in the future. And, you know, we already start those kind of conversations about what universities they would like to attend when they're in grade 8 and grade 9, and we start helping them to go into this direction. So they've already got this passion for these areas. And so actually it's a very easy job for our teachers. The children are very motivated to achieve in these Olympiads, and they're very, very eager to come in after school. They're very eager even to come in on Saturdays sometimes. They volunteer to come in on the weekends, and they ask our teachers if they can, you know, support them on the weekends. Our teachers are very passionate about their subjects as well. I believe that every teacher is passionate about their own subject. And so when a child asks if they can have an extra lesson on a Saturday, most of the teachers are very happy and excited to accommodate this. So, you know, I think this helps a lot. And this is why we have, you know, such good results with the Olympiads. It's through motivating the children to be, you know, in areas that they enjoy. And I think after that, everything is pretty easy when it comes to the achievements. If you're doing something you are passionate about and you like, the rest falls into place quite easily.
An interesting fact that you just shared, that you do a review of individual plans with a child.
Yeah.
So basically, a child himself or herself tells what's their area of interest, and you try to facilitate that area of interest.
Yeah, that's right. So every term, each child will sit with their homeroom teacher, and they will reflect on all of the achievements they've made throughout the term since their last review. And they will look at, you know, the grades that they've been getting for their different subjects. They will look at the clubs that they're attending. They will look at, you know, how well they've been doing in terms of comments from teachers with completing homework on time, or with any maybe behavior things that they might have had, if there are any, or with lateness, and, you know, with their aspirations. So we're always looking at that end goal. What do they want to achieve at the end? Where do they want to go? And, you know, we will try and advise them on what they need to do, or what they might need to change in order to get there. So they will set some targets. And maybe you've heard the term SMART targets before, where you look at targets that are going to be, you know, something that's got a measurable aspect to it and has a time set as well, to make sure that you're able to go back and say if you were successful in your target or not. So then when they meet the next time, they can go back and review the target to measure their success, and keep on updating to set new targets as they need to.
How many hours do your home run teachers have, teaching hours per week?
We try to keep their teaching hours no more than 15 hours a week. For the home
is still
teachers.
A lot to do, a lot of individual work.
Yeah, but I would say this is the maximum. They are normally a bit less than that even. So it's around the maximum.
I have a lot of thoughts about it. I'm trying to digest right now. So and I'm trying to, from this podcast, I'm trying to find interesting things that any school in Kazakhstan can apply to its system, and it might help them a little bit to improve their processes and work and improve their work with children. You mentioned that students who are getting ready for their Olympiads and getting ready for any significant academic achievements can ask for any extra lessons on Saturdays or like in the afternoons. How does it usually work at your school? So are there any special hours that teachers can work on Saturdays, or are they volunteering to do that?
Yeah, we have dedicated time for students and for teachers after school. So our lessons officially finish at 3:30. And from 3:30 until 5 o'clock, the teachers are in school and available to support with any Olympiads. And we actually have a range already planned with over 80 different clubs that are every week taking place that the children can, enroll in. Many of these clubs are preparation for Olympiads, or they are just, areas of interest for children to explore and broaden their knowledge. But some of the children occasionally, when they are coming close to an Olympiad or coming close to an exam, they may request that a teacher helps and supports them with, preparations, or that they may ask if they can come in on a Saturday with a teacher to practice more in a certain area. And, we try our best to accommodate. So if we've got a staff member who's happy to do that, we do offer. So it's, as I said, at the moment, we do have some students that come in on a Saturday to do extra lessons with one of the teachers, and it's just the teacher was happy to help. Someone asked if they can have extra support with the subjects.
Thank you so much. We talked a little bit about teachers, we talked about parents, and we talked a little bit about students. Can you give us an alumni profile of Spectrum International School? So where do your students go after they graduate from the school?
So our students, they go everywhere, actually. We have students in England, America, in Canada, all around Europe, some parts of Asia and Central Asia. We have some that stay here in Kazakhstan as well to go to university. But I would say majority of our students, they do prefer to go to England or America. Kazakhstan and Central Asia and the wider parts of Asia are less common, I think, from many of our students. But we are supporting our children to go to any university that they would like to go to. So this is, as I said, part of our personalized approach. We don't try and force children to go to anywhere in particular, but we try and find out what are their needs, what are their goals, and what do they want, and we give them advice and support to help them apply to the universities that are best for them. So, some students, they want to go to Ivy League schools, and we give them all the support for that. Some students, they already know they don't want to go to Ivy League schools, and, Ivy League schools are not for everybody.
Do you have any Ivy League schools cases?
We do. We have some students that have been to Oxford and to Harvard and UCL. So we have a lot of students that go to Ivy League universities. But as I said, it's not for everybody. Ivy League universities, they have very different methodology and programs. And for some students, there's also costs involved. And so there are different priorities. We do help our families as well in getting scholarships for universities where needed. And I would say almost every year we have around 20 to 21% of our families get scholarships to universities. So, we do help a lot with that.
How many student councils work at your school?
We have 2 dedicated student counsellors that are working with our school, but actually we take the approach that university application is not just for the college counsellors, but actually it's a team effort from all of the grade 12 team. And so we have a dedicated head of the Key Stage 5, which is our high school, and we also have our head of the secondary school who are involved, and the homeroom teachers that I said earlier, they don't teach as much. And the idea is that they can help the children with these kind of things as well as, their pastoral care. So it's a big team if you consider all of these other people that are involved. And myself also overseeing to make sure that people are well supported for this as well.
In terms of your academic team, so you have head of your high school, head of middle school, head of primary school. How many staff are there in administrating schoolwork?
Yeah, so we do have quite a few. I mean, the titles vary from school to school, and we have slightly different titles for them in our school to what you've just mentioned. So you have myself as the principal, and we have our administrative director who's in charge of the financial side and the building and the security. And then we have in the senior leadership team, we have our head of the secondary school, we have the head of the primary school, and we have our head of the pastoral care system that I was mentioning to you earlier. So they're in charge of the well-being and the social emotional development of our children and our values-based program. And then underneath that, we then have someone who is dedicated for our high school. We call them Key Stage 5 coordinator because in the British system, the high school follows a Key Stage 5 program of study. So that the whole schooling system is broken into 5 key stages. Key Stage 1 is the very, very beginning of primary school when they're in grade 0, grade 1 and grade 2. And then Key Stage 2 is for our grade 3, 4 and 5. And then our secondary starts from grade 3, Key Stage 3. So we have different coordinators for those different key stage areas.
That's very interesting that you mentioned that you have an administrative director separately.
Yeah.
So he basically handles all day-to-day stuff that happens in the building and finances, and you are able to concentrate on school itself, on program, curriculum, children, and
yeah, it helps a lot. So as I said, he's focused on the money side of things, and the building, the bricks and mortar, and this kind of aspect. So it lets me focus more on the academic side of things, and the staff and the students, and the well-being of our team and our program.
Is it normal practice in British schools, the division of responsibilities like that?
Yeah, it's very normal. In England, we may call them a bursar, so they'll be with a slightly different name, but yes, it's very normal in the British system.
That's, I think, the issue that we have in our typical Kazakh school, that the principal himself handles all the different things that happen at school, and they are often not academically related. And that's what you've mentioned right now. I'm also sitting and considering what changes can we make at our school, so we could try to free some time of our principals to think more about what's important about the curriculum, about the program, future adjustments that we can have about school communities. For a short period of time, about a year and a half, I was a principal at our flagman school.
Oh, very nice.
And my whole day I was communicating with parents. Since it's a private school, I had to answer to a lot of their questions, complaints, suggestions and stuff. And when there was a time for a new principal, I said that we need to have a separate person who are gonna talk to parents, who are gonna divide special attention to parents, because we need to free the principal to think more about what's important. And based on the conversation with you, I also have a thought that we need to find a way to change, to take some of their responsibilities away so they could concentrate on teachers and students more.
Yeah, of course. I mean, in the UK system, it's very normal that the bursar works separately from the principal, and they collaborate a lot. So the principal is still overseeing and making sure that everything is running smoothly as it should be, and you still oversee the responsibility of areas for development, but you have someone else that plans where that money will be spent and how to organize that, and they can also monitor and track these things for you and follow up with those day-to-day routines, like following up with anything that needs paying or needs collection. So it does help a lot, I think.
Does Spectrum, Spectrum, Nurorda, Vista School, you are very really close nearby, and are you related between each other, between schools, or it's 3 separate schools?
They're 3 separate schools, but we do share the original founders. So we are founded by the same group, but we are completely separate and individual schools.
So it's a different curriculum and different standards?
Yeah, very different curriculum and different standards.
Do you, since you are founded by the same founders, it's Былим Innovация Group, is that right?
That's correct, yeah.
Do you share the common values?
We have some commonality in the values. There is definitely a common theme between them, but because of our internationalism as well, ours are adapted a little bit, so they're not exactly the same. But there is definitely a common theme.
Let's talk a little bit about Kazakhstan, since you're in terms of, you mentioned that you have 34 nationalities of kids in your school. What percentage of that is local Kazakhstan?
So we have 34 different nationalities from around the world. So the rest, the remaining 76% is Kazakhstani children. But I think we do have from different parts of Kazakhstan as well. They're not all just from Astana. We find that we have a lot of children that have moved to Astana from, the various different regions of Kazakhstan, which also is something quite amazing, I think, because even within Kazakhstan, you have very different, I wouldn't say very different, but there are some differences between the culture and between some of the foods a little bit too. Like I know you have the fish parmak in the Aktobi region, which is quite nice as well. So it's really nice for us that we have such a diverse group in the school. And this is also why we do celebrate the Kazakh local culture as well. And although we're an international school and we are always focused on global citizenship skills and talking about, other cultures, but that does start from Kazakhstan, and we do recognize and value and appreciate the culture here in Kazakhstan as well. And whenever we teach about other cultures, we always look back as well at Kazakhstan and try to appreciate the local side.
Working with Kazakhstani families, what do they value most in education?
I think families around the world are fairly similar. But I would say that perhaps in Kazakhstan, there's a lot more emphasis on academic achievements, and there's a lot of emphasis as well on the end result, where many families already have some kind of idea on what universities they would like to go to. But I do see a growing number of families in Kazakhstan that also value the holistic approach that we offer at Spectrum, where we are caring about the well-being of the children and the mental state of their child and developing these values. And I do see a lot of families that are also very passionate about this idea of educating children to be global citizens, where they can adapt to any environment they are put in, because I think that is the future as well in terms of the future of the workplace. I think people are collaborating a lot more with other countries now for business, and you have to be able to understand how to work with people from all sorts of backgrounds. So I think these are becoming more and more popular or demanding from parents that we have here in Kazakhstan.
Are there any cultural surprises that you found while working in Kazakhstan?
I wouldn't say it's so much surprises. I mean, as I said, I've worked in quite a lot of different situations already, and maybe but in London we have quite a lot of different nationalities of people in London, including from Kazakhstan. And so I think my experience with Central Asia and Kazakhstan has not led me to be surprised by anything particularly. But I suppose one of the things you would say that I really enjoyed a lot and didn't expect to see so much when I first arrived in Kazakhstan is I think you can still see the nomadic history from Kazakhstan. It still comes across, I think, in some of the day-to-day things that I see, and in many of the people that I meet here, they still have this interest in nature, and I can still see people who like to go exploring and camping a lot, which is really nice. And I really think that valuing the nature is quite important, and it's a really nice thing that you have such a strong connection with nature here in Kazakhstan.
Thank you so much. Yes, nature is beautiful in Kazakhstan, and there are a lot of interesting places to visit and see as well. I wanted to ask you also, besides Spectrum International School, how does Dream School look?
How does Dream School look?
Yes.
I haven't visited Dream School yet, but I did meet some of the staff from Dream School recently, and I think they are showing a lot of promise. Actually, they have some.
When I'm talking about Dream School, how does the Школа мечты? So it's a school of any dream school. So what is the secret for any dream school?
I see. You mean if I had a dream of a school, what would it look like?
Yes, that's correct.
I think that actually, and this might sound a bit cliche possibly, but before coming to see Spectrum, I had never considered a school to be as focused on this values-based program as Spectrum is. And getting the parents, as you mentioned as well, having such involvement from the parents, which is really special and very unique, I think, to Spectrum. And I've been really impressed, and it was one of the reasons I wanted to come and work in Spectrum as well, for this amazing work they are doing with the values, with the parents, with the students. You can feel the difference, I think, when you walk into Spectrum. You just get this really positive feeling from the students, from the staff, and even from the board members. I had such positive feeling from them when I met with them. And you can feel the passion that they have for education and for students' well-being and development. And I really wanted to be part of that. And I think this, for me, makes a dream school, actually. If you have students that are very passionate and positive and friendly, and you have teachers that are also feeling the same way, I think this is what really makes a school stand out. And it's, you spend a lot of time in school. If you imagine you are there for at least 8 hours a day in most cases, and you are there for at least, depending on if it's the secondary or the primary, you're going to be there for at least 6 or so years for the studying. It should be a place that you enjoy to come to, and that you enjoy to learn, and that you feel supported and you feel cared for and valued. And I think that in Spectrum, this is the way I feel when I walk into Spectrum.
I also wanted to talk about what kind of technologies do you use at school, services maybe that you also use at school. I know that you are also using our program ZERO in your day-to-day activities. Can you share a little bit about what technologies do you use, and what do you think convenient technologies that you would advise other school administrators to choose to make their work more effective?
Yeah, sure. I think it really depends on your curriculum and your program. So some of the programs we are using are dedicated for our British international program. We are using IXL, which is a program that supports children in doing work for English and maths and science online. So it has lots of interactive tasks that children can do, and they get immediate feedback. So we use this more as a homework tool for children where they're not at school, but they can do some tasks, and it marks them immediately and tells them where they've gone wrong. It's a really nice way for them to improve. We're also, for our teachers, we're using something called Magic AI, which is quite a nice tool for the teachers. And actually it's based on using an AI platform similar to ChatGPT, but it's focused purely on the teachers' skills and what they might need to use it for. So it helps them in creating some worksheets. It helps them in creating some of their quizzes and tests when they need to, and it can also help them in other aspects of reporting grades and things like this.
Thank you so much. So let's do a quick lightning round.
Okay.
And I'll ask you a few blitz questions. They are light and fun.
Okay.
And our audience will like to hear what's your favorite part of the school day?
My favorite part of the school day? I really enjoy assembly, actually. It's when I get to to really speak to all of the students the most, and I get to, share some stories. I like to pass on some stories in our assemblies where I can link them to the values that we are trying to build in our students as a whole. So this is one of my favorite parts, but I enjoy most of the day.
One book every teacher should read.
One book every teacher should read. That's a hard one, I think, because actually, especially in the international program, there are so many different viewpoints to education. And I really love this part of my job in an international education too, because, when you are working in any national program, all the other teachers around you are pretty much trained with the same knowledge, the same information, the same facts, and you have a very similar kind of pedagogical way of thinking because you've had the same kind of training from the nation that you're in. When you're in an international school, you have people, from Canada, from America, from Australia, from Kazakhstan, from England, and all of you have a different set of research that you've looked at for your training. All of you have a different kind of system that you've been educated to, and so your viewpoint can be very different on what is the best way to educate. However, none of them are wrong. They are just all different. And I think it makes for a really good conversation, I think, when you're, having this kind of background. And so when you say one piece of research to read, I think it's very hard to pinpoint one for that reason.
Mr. Jonathan, that was a blitz question.
Sorry.
Okay, one book that you would advise.
Maybe if I could say one website, perhaps, for teachers. The Sutton Trust is a fantastic website for teachers. And if you go on the Sutton Trust, they have a list of all the different kinds of strategies that teachers and administrators can use, and they have research for each of them that supports why they are or are not effective.
How do you spell it? Sutton Trust?
Sutton, Sutton, the Sutton Trust.
Sutton Trust.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. The first thing I'm going to do, go online after our podcast to research for it. The research that you just shared with us. Coffee or tea?
Me, tea.
Tea. The best thing about Kazakhstan?
The best thing about Kazakhstan? Camping, definitely.
One word to describe your school community?
Positive.
Positive. Thank you so much, Mr. Jonathan, for sharing your time today. It was a pleasure speaking with you, learning a bit about your personality and a lot about Spectrum International School. I think that's very important when the principal is the strongest advocate of the school. I was trying to ask a few different provocative questions, but it all came to great things that your school do, and we really believe in it, and we really look at your school as an example as one of the examples of school leadership that we have in Kazakhstan. And we wish you good luck at the end of the school year, and good luck in all the plans that you have. We also would like to give you a small present.
Thank you very much.
Joining us today. Thank you so much. That's a little present from us. And it was a pleasure meeting you today.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure meeting you.